lake house on Lake Montana and we bought a beach house. Just kidding. But we are sharing some pretty personal info today that does have to do with the ocean. So let's dive in. But yeah, we are at the beach this week. We're at Folly Beach in South Carolina, family vacation. And it's got us thinking about something a lot that we wanted to share with you guys. Whenever we started this YouTube channel, our very first video, we mentioned to you guys that part of why we were living the lifestyle that we're living out on the lake was to save money.
We knew we could move out on a boat and save all our money for travels.
But we didn't really go into like any detail at all. Saving money in and of itself is great, but we actually do have like a specific dream, a specific goal in mind. This dream actually started with Brandon before we even met a long time ago. Probably before I was even born.
She's really my daughter.
There might be a little age gap going on here. We've also never discussed that while we're spilling on the tea. But anyways, a long time ago.
My biggest life heroes that I've ever met, besides my mom and my dad, would be a couple that I ran into last time I was camping down in Cayo Costa in Florida. And I dinghied up to their boat and was talking to them, and it was an older lady, an older man, and they got to telling me their story. And 28 years ago, they had left that port. And they left to go sail around the world, and 28 years later they were just coming back. I mean, those are people with stories that could write books thicker than the Lord of the Rings. So in my 20s I lived on a sailboat in the mountains, and then bought one on the ocean. Pretty good size, 38-foot international ocean racing sailboat. A friend of mine owned it. He actually got me into sailing. He passed away in a storm on the boat, and I bought the boat, rebuilt it, took it on its cruise. Kind of a big sentimental value with it. I spent 7 months cruising on that boat and tied it to a dock one time. And this was years that I was in Florida, but the big cruise was a 7-month-long adventure. It sparked a lot of interest with me in sailing, and I mean, everybody as a kid looks out at the ocean and says, I'm going to go sail around the world. But that's actually something that I'm doing. And now Sarah has decided that would be something she wants to do with me. When I talk about sailing around the world, I'm not going to jump in a boat and spend the next 56 days trying to beat the record. It's more of a lifetime achievement award.
A marathon.
Yeah, it never stops. You just keep going, you never stop. You work in different places as you're sailing. Whole community out there of people that do this. So yeah, we live on a boat to save, to sail on a boat. Sarah and I, we're 2/3 of the way there, and we probably don't need everything we're trying to save for, but it's always fun to have it. Plus we have Aiko, and she's never going to sail anywhere around the world. She's burned up in the first 3 days. And we're definitely not going to start in Antarctica. So
we have this dream, and we're logistically working towards our dream, because it would be great if you could just be like, oh, live like today's, your very last day, go start sailing now. But there are some logistics involved with Aiko and money and whatnot. But at the same time, the other piece of this puzzle is we really didn't want to wait for our dream to come true to start living our dream, if that makes sense. So what I mean is, think about what your dream is. Say you want to go be a doctor. That's like your life's dream. There are some logistics involved. You can't just go be a doctor. You're going to have to go to school, save money, all that stuff. But what can you do now to accomplish the same feeling that you will have as a doctor? And this really comes down to your why. So you got to ask yourself, why do you want to be a doctor? Well, I want to help people. What can you do today to make you feel like you're helping people? And that may not be, actually being a doctor, but say you volunteer at a blood bank. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's things that if you think about why you have this dream, that you can always accomplish that same sensation before you actually have the thing, if that makes sense. So, for example, we want to go sail around the world, right? Why do we want to do that? Well,
Why not?
why not? Well, we want the sense of freedom that it gives. We want the enriching life experiences that that kind of traveling will bring. But we don't have the sailboat, and Ica's still here. So what can we do in the meantime to bring about a greater sense of freedom and have enriching experiences that still save money for that dream? That's kind of how we wound up on Floating Cabin. So it might not be mobile, we're permanently moored, but living on the water still brings us that sense of freedom while building practical skills, especially for me, because Brandon's been, in this world a lot longer than I have, but I'm just now learning how to drive a dinghy kind of thing. So it's been super practical, building some of the just general boating skills, while in the meantime looking forward to this larger dream. Because I think our life is just composed of all these individual days strung together. It's not really these milestones. It's more about just the day-to-day. And what are you doing with your day-to-day that is creating a life that you will look back on and be like, I did the dang thing. So
You gotta come in sliding sideways, beat up pretty bad.
yeah, so we might not have the sailboat right now, but we're still trying to string together every single day experiences that are accomplishing that same sensation of what that dream will bring us. So there were way simpler ways that we could have been saving money while waiting for this dream to come true. We could have just been in a studio apartment together instead of pouring money into a house renovation out here. We could have just worked 2 jobs for a while and kind of been miserable for a little while so that we could have had a nice life later, the whole retirement pitch. But why wait till retirement when you can start living your dream right now in smaller ways, right? So that's kind of our philosophy on it is why wait for then when you can really accomplish that on some level now? And that's the way that we really want to live our life, no matter what, whether the sailing dream evolves into whatever it may evolve into or not. Just every single day, what are you doing to string together a bunch of days that you can be happy with when you look back on your life? Did you waste it waiting for retirement? Or were you living every single day, whether you had that dream or not?
That's right.
Yeah, some people might think that we're kind of crazy for that dream because the open ocean can be a terrifying thing, no doubt. And then some of y'all, like us, might watch sailing channels on YouTube and you're very familiar with this kind of lifestyle and you think it would be awesome. There's kind of 2 camps of people, and I have to say, whenever I first met Brandon and he told me about this dream, I think I was in the former camp. I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. Is that really practical? How are you going to make money? And is that safe? And in my mind, it was just always spending time on the open ocean. In reality, I think there's a lot more time in anchorages and exploring the mainland and stuff like that. But either way, I totally understand the group of people who are all right, that's a little outlandish. But the more we've talked about it, the more I'm like, wow, is there any other lifestyle that could bring more freedom and excitement and exploration and growth? I just can't imagine one. It sounds amazing to me.
Find your dream, think about how to make it happen, and go for it. The easiest thing I've found in this life is if you can make someone else's life easier just by doing something for them they don't want to do, it's a good way to start making money for your dream. You might wind up spending all your time helping other people, but you're helping and you're getting money to do it because people need help.
Yeah, my favorite quote that kind of sums a lot of this up, I feel like I'm going to butcher this. I'll put the right one on the screen, but it's something about don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and go do that. Because what the world truly needs is people that have come alive. How do you feel about what you're doing every day? What kind of mood are you in whenever you wake up? Are you actually living your life, or are you planning it away, Do something that makes you feel alive, and that's truly the best thing that you can do, not only for yourself, but for the world. And yeah, for us, that's living on the water, learning how to live on the water, sharing how to live on the water.
dude.
I would rather go jump in the water now because I'm burning up.
We're gonna come back with a bunch of tricks next week for you. I teach you how to tie some knots,
Yeah.
put a boat up properly. Who knows?
But yeah, we just wanted to share that with you guys because we feel like a lot of times we're just sharing our day-to-day, but we don't really get into the weeds of some of the philosophy of why we're doing all these things in our day-to-day. Besides that, it's simply cool to live where we live. But for us, it really is deeper than that. So just hope that that can resonate with some of you guys. And we would love to hear from you what your dream is, what you're doing now to accomplish that dream. Thanks for spending this morning with us. Or whatever time you're
We're going on vacation. Bye.
Back in vacation mode. See ya.